The Nikon Z8 sits right near the top of the brand's mirrorless camera offerings, between the Z7 Mark II and the Z9. Because of the camera's positioning, it's fast become one of the most popular cameras in the range, and in this video we're going to take a walk through the body, system menu and setup. Taking a look at the body of the camera, seasoned Nikon shooters should feel quite at home. Starting off the walkthrough with the mount, the Z8, along with the rest of the Z range of mirrorless cameras, utilises the Z mount. Although very different from Nikon's previous mount for their DSLR cameras, older Nikon lenses can be adapted to the mirrorless range using the FTZ adapter. As with all interchangeable lens cameras, the lens release switch sits next to the mount, and on the other side of the mount are two custom function buttons, which we'll look at more later on. Moving to the grip of the camera, on the front of it is a dial which is assigned on this setup as aperture, but can be customized to change shutter speed if desired. On the top of the grip is the on and off switch, which sits around the shutter release button. And next to these are three more buttons, and in the standard setup, these are for exposure compensation, ISO, and a dedicated record stop start button for video, which can be used when the camera is in pretty much any mode. When using either the ISO or exposure compensation button, you can use the dial, which is situated on the thumb position, to change either of these settings. To the left of this, labelled AF on, is the button used for activating the autofocus for the camera. Next to this, there's a button for changing the display on the back of the camera, which can be customised, and a switch surrounds this, allowing you to move from stills to video mode. Going down the right on the back of the camera, there's a multi-directional stick which can be used for navigating menus or selecting your autofocus point. The I button brings up the quick menu on the back of the screen, and below this is another multi-directional button, again which can be used for menu navigation. This one has an OK button in the centre of it, allowing you to select your changes. The final four buttons on this side are the magnification button, used for either getting a closer view of your subject through live view, which can be helpful for focusing, or for magnifying your images in playback. Below that is a button for zooming out of your images. The button to the right is the playback for reviewing your videos and images in camera. And the final one on this side is the menu button, which recalls your main menu. On the top left of the camera, there are dedicated buttons for bracketing your shots, selecting and setting your frames from single to various continuous frames, a button for selecting your white balance, and a final one for choosing your shooting modes, such as auto, program, or manual. The last few buttons on the left are a custom function button, another one for deleting your images in camera, and next to the ports is a final customizable button. Sticking with the ports and connectivity, the Z8 has a full-size HDMI, two 3.5mm connectors, one for a microphone and one for headphones, along with two USB-C ports and a 10-pin remote connector. And as for media, the Z8 can take both SD and CF Express. The final physical elements on the camera are the two screens. One is on top, which displays the camera settings, and the 3.2-inch multi-angled touchscreen, which also displays your settings, media playback, live view, and menu, which we'll look at now. We'll start off at the top of the menu under the photo shooting menu. At the top, we have a great feature allowing you to create custom menus based on the type of photography you want to do. As a standard, this comes loaded with four individual options: standard, sports, portrait, and astro. Selecting one of these menus recalls the required or requested menu options that you've set up for that type of photography. These can be renamed if you want to customize them to a more specific shooting type or to something different than the preset named menus. You can increase the number of items stored in these menus by switching on the option below, which is titled Extended Menu Banks. File naming gives you the option to customize the naming convention of your files as they're captured in camera. The next section in the menu is the priority of which media you shoot onto first. If you only have an SD card, then it will default to that card, and the same with a CF Express card. If you do have both slots filled, then the next option will allow you to select what the second card does, allowing you to use it as an overflow, meaning you'll fill your primary card first and then move on to your second card, or to shoot to both cards at the same time, or to have one to shoot RAW and one to shoot JPEG. Next on this menu is the image area, selecting either full frame or various DX or cropped options. With tone mode, you can select between SDR, which is a standard dynamic range for the camera, or an enhanced range with HLG, but you will need an HLG compatible monitor to make the most out of this setting for editing. Image quality allows you to select what image type you want to shoot, so JPEG, HEIF for processed images, or to shoot RAW, as well as a mixture of qualities and joint options. Image size is secondary to image quality and allows you to select the resolution of the files for processed options, whereas RAW recording allows you to select the options for the quality of RAW files. In the ISO sensitivity setting, you can select the ISO rating here. You can also set the ISO range for when you want to use auto ISO, setting a minimum and maximum sensitivity. You can also select the white balance here, but it's much easier to do this and the ISO with the quick buttons mentioned earlier. The next menu item is your picture control, and again will link to the processed images such as JPEGs. You can select from various different looks that are applied to your captured images. You can also customize these in the Manage Picture Control menu. With color space, you can select which you prefer to work in, either sRGB or Adobe RGB, which again you'll need a monitor that can display Adobe RGB to be able to utilize this option properly. Active delighting will help you balance your exposure, and this is usually best suited to turn on when you're shooting processed images, again such as JPEGs. If you're shooting long exposures, again these can be processed in camera, so turning on the noise reduction can help, along with the high ISO noise reduction. Though if you are shooting RAW, I tend to have these off so I can control them when I edit. You also have the option for controlling your vignette, diffraction, distortion, skin softening and portrait balance, which again are great for processed images but best left off for RAW captures. Some environments, such as music venues, can cause issues with flickering or strobing due to the lighting, so you have two options here to help reduce that. The next option, which is an important one to get right for your type of photography, is how you meter the scene. Personally, out of the selection, I use spot metering and I link this to my autofocus point, meaning the bit of the subject I focus on is what I want my exposure metering set to. For those of you who use flash, can use the flash control setting of an external strobe here. The next big section is the focus options, allowing you to select your focus mode, so either continuous, single or manual, the area that your autofocus works in, if you want your AF to pick out certain subjects, such as animals, people or vehicles, or just to have this off. With vibration reduction, this is also referred to as image stabilization, you have two in-body modes here, either normal, which will correct all axis of movement, or sport, which will set the bias to correct the vertical movement and reduce the correction on horizontal movement. This is due to sport being a typically left to right or right to left motion. Again, in the menus, there's an option for bracketing to go along with the physical button. This allows you to select the type of bracketing and its settings when used. The final four options are HDR overlay, interval or time-lapse shooting, or focus shift shooting, all of which have various settings and options to customize for your style. The next main menu is for video recording. Again, you have similar options to the still shooting with the shooting menu bank, extended bank, file naming and destination. Below these are the quality options, with the file type being first. Here you can choose the type of video you want to capture, from RAW to processed files, along with their bit depth and small write-up on each option. You also have an option for selecting your frame size and rate, and the quality of your N-RAW capture. Again, like the still side of the camera, you have options to set your ISO, white balance and picture profile, vignette, distortion and many other settings as we've discussed. The next menu option, which is only in video, is for audio capture, starting off with the sensitivity. If you're shooting to have scratch or reference audio, i.e. something that you're not going to use in your final edit, then leaving this on auto is fine. But if you want to use the audio, then set this to manual and monitor the levels, both on the screen and with headphones. You can also set the frequency response for the inbuilt mics, either wide for general subjects or vocal for speech. You also have a wind noise reduction option for the microphone too. If you want to capture better audio, you can use an external microphone. These sometimes need additional power, which can be provided by the camera through the 3.5mm jack. Along with the audio capture volume, you can also set the headphone volume to help you monitor more accurately. The final two options for video is timecode, which can be useful for multicam shoots, and external recording control, meaning you can trigger the external recording using an external recording device over HDMI. To customize your shooting menu banks, you can use the next segment. I'd recommend changing these settings and testing them as you go, or following an in-depth guide to settings for each type of photography that you want to do. Also in this menu, you can customize all of the previous mentioned controls on the outside of the camera, along with the camera's quick menu. In the Playback menu, you have options for how you want your images to be displayed. And the final main menu we'll cover in this walkthrough is the Setup menu. Here you can select your language, time zone and date, along with the key settings for the main usage of the settings of your camera. A few useful bits to look at would be making sure the auto rotate info is on, also turning on and filling in your copyright information, as this writes the info to the metadata of the files captured and can keep your files a little more secure. You can also turn off any beeps that the camera might make when focusing or using the menu, and you can turn on silent mode as well. Though be aware that this will use an electronic shutter which can cause strobing in certain lighting conditions. There's an option for touch control, either having it on or off, or being able to use the touchscreen with the glove, which is the first time I've been able to use this in any camera. Under HDMI, you can select the output resolution, output range, and if you include the camera info, these should be considered and explored if you're recording to an external monitor. There's further information on the battery life and alternative power options, along with the ability to turn on an energy saving mode, which is just for shooting stills. And the final two menu segments are for wireless connectivity and for creating your own custom menu, where you can select which items from the main menu you might want to have on a quick and easy menu, which being able to format my card would probably be one of the priorities on a quick menu. So that's it for the Nikon Z8 walkthrough. I really hope you found this useful, going through the menu system and custom mode buttons. For more information about the Z8, head on over to wex.co.uk.